Welcome to the Health Revolution, the show that leads you to a life of vibrant well-being. In a world full of noisy health trends, we bring you clarity through a sea of fads. We reveal the science behind the strategies that truly work. We explore physical strength, emotional resilience, and mental mastery, the keys to an enriched life. See inspiring interviews with the champions who've conquered life's challenges. Are you ready to unlock your potential to live with vitality and purpose? Then join the Health Revolution. I'm your host, Adriana Morrison, health and fitness expert, speaker, and a mom who understands. Let's embark on this transformative quest together. If you want to change the game, it all starts now. To the Health Revolution. We're excited that you are joining us today. I'm your host, Adriana Morrison. No matter which way you're tuning into us, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button. We want to stay connected to you. Also, at the bottom of your show episode screen that you see here, there is a show episode note. Be mindful of that. There is some important information about today and what we are talking about. I'm excited to get into it for those of you who are brand new to us and those of you who are returning viewers. Today, we're talking about hacking your health. Hack your health, what's behind the functional movement and performance. How do we optimize our health, our energy, and all that implies? There's a lot of tools out there. It can be confusing, but we certainly want the blueprint strategy to get us those results that we are looking for. My guest today is someone who is well-versed in so many avenues of health and wellness. She is someone who brings a whole lot of receipts to the table. Let's get a chance to get to know her. Take a look at this. Meet Dr. Nathalie Beauchamp, a natural health practitioner, wellness consultant, and international speaker with over 25 years of experience helping people optimize their health for peak energy and performance. As a former professional bodybuilder and the author of Hack Your Health Habits and SmartCuts, Biohack Your Healthspan, Dr. Nathalie has dedicated her career to empowering individuals to take control of their well-being. Through cutting-edge protocols, personalized health programs, and biohacking strategies, Dr. Nathalie helps people regain energy, balance hormones, and build lasting habits for a healthier life. Today, we will learn how to hack our health, optimize performance, and take charge of our longevity. Dr. Nathalie Beauchamp, welcome to the show.
So happy to be here, Adriana. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Me too. I got to ask you right off the bat, what made you want to get into this realm? What made you want to dive deeper and have this be your path, your professional path, and impact so many people that you have?
Well, many of us in the health field, we've had our own challenges and we have our own story. So at the age of 14, I became anorexic, and I'm from a small town, less than 1,000 people. And I really got really thin and really sick. And I had to kind of figure out how to get myself out of that. So I remember going to the library and just trying to consume information with the help of my parents, of course, and, medical professional as well. But I just became passionate about health and trying to figure out what I could do to make myself healthy again. And also started the passion of wanting to share this with other people. So I'm just passionate about learning. I'm still learning, even at the age that I'm at. I'm constantly doing new courses, reading new papers, and still being a clinician. I see what people struggle with. So I'm just passionate about health for myself, my family, my patient, and, to a bigger audience through my books.
Have that family history of being mindful of your health and your body? Or was it something that over time you just had to create that connection with who you are and where your health is and where you wanted it to be?
Actually, a great question, because a lot of time young ladies become anorexic because they're overweight, or I had none of that. I was always athletic. It's just, and funny enough, a friend of mine became anorexic, and I saw her struggle, and I was even thinking, why did she do this to herself? I remember going to Montreal and seeing her in the hospital, just being in shock. And then lo and behold, somehow a year later, that was me. So I was always athletic, and it's truly athleticism that helped me through this, because I remember my volleyball coach, the provincial tournament, benched me, and I was probably his best player. And I was so mad that he was benching me, but he did it because he was afraid that I would, collapse and faint. So it's through, I think, my passion for sports as well that really helped me get through this. But from a family aspect, my parents, fairly active, but definitely not, exposed to that much sports per se. So it's just something that I, morph into the physical activity aspect.
You had a foray into bodybuilding.
Mhm.
Take us through that. What was it like for you to participate? And what are some things that would be important to know about that industry? I know that sometimes, bodybuilding comes up as a subject of debate.
Mhm.
What was your experience like? What was your takeaway
Yeah.
from being in the bodybuilding world?
Yeah. Well, I can only speak for myself, but that was probably the best thing I've done. And I decided to do it when I was 30. I was working out at the gym. My partner was competing, and I was doing the exact same exercise, following the same diet. I'm like, heck, why don't I try this? So I was done with my schooling by then and started my own practice. And I'm like, let's do it for a challenge. And then I really realized that I was not eating enough. I was not eating really well, even though I knew better. I was a doctor. So funny enough that people may think that being anorexic, going on stage, doing natural bodybuilding competition could be, mentally challenging and maybe not healthy. But for me, it was the reverse. It changed my relationship with food, that it was not, the enemy and so forth. And I thought by then that I was doing pretty good, but it just really helped me. Now, it is challenging because not like a sport that, let's say, tennis or volleyball, it's you have a bad game, everybody understand. If it's a team sport, then it's a little bit less on you. But bodybuilding, you have to be strong mentally because you are being criticized on you. But I went in just for me, for fun, to see how I could push my body. And I didn't put, silly expectation. I didn't even tell my patients that I was doing it, because, when you do natural bodybuilding, you can barely tell, when people are competing, you just look fit, right? So it was an awesome experience for me. I did it for 5 years. Switch into figure, which is, a little bit less muscular than bodybuilding because it suited me. I'm almost 5'10". So to put on muscle on a tall frame, as you know, Adriana, it's kind of challenging. So I fitted really well into the figure category, and it was just an awesome experience. So I really enjoyed the time that I did it. But like anything else, any athletic, sports, you are putting your body through a lot. So not good to do necessarily for long periods of time. So I did my 5 years, enjoyed the ride. It's not something that I would do again. Now I work out for me just to stay healthy, but it was a great experience.
I can relate because I had my foray into bodybuilding figure as well. And what I loved, what it did for me, that experience was it showed me that I can raise the benchmark on myself, and that my consistency and how I was showing up was determining what my odds were in placing well, whether it was first place or not. And you're right, it is subjective because the symmetry, the all of that goes into the judging. It's you can show up as your best self, and yet the judges looking for whom they're looking for, it may not be you. And so that was a tougher pill to swallow at times. Felt successful for others and did place and so forth, but it definitely taught me it was me against me, not necessarily me against the woman who was next to me.
Yeah.
So I think that you and I definitely share that. And I love how you continued your journey and you started to foray into other areas. So obviously take us through what biohacking is. What are some of the things that you found yourself wanting to dive into to help serve those clients who you're working with, and what your vision was for your role, your professional role?
Yeah. So my degree is a doctor of chiropractic. I've got a exercise physiology bachelor as well. But I also I needed to expand my knowledge and expand what I would teach people. So I decided to do my certification with the Institute of Functional Medicine. And as I was doing this, it was a few years, obviously, to do this. I was, thinking, what do people need to know from what I'm learning? So all through taking my course, I started writing the book Hack Your Health Habits. And, this is probably a book that is way too big, and it has become a Bible for so many people. I still have patients to this day, even if the book is a few years old, that patients, I will say, they revert back to the book. So with the book, and where I'm going with this is that, what is a hack? I remember back in, when I first came up with this, like people were like, what is a hack? So a hack to me is a shortcut, is a more efficient way to do something. So if you don't have to exercise, hard and for hours, there's a more efficient way for you to see the same result. Why do it the hard way? So to me, biohacking is finding more efficient ways to do things when it comes to your health. And it goes from physical health, from supplement, from, even your mental health and how you see things. So to me, it's all about being efficient, because we're all busy. And as you said at the beginning, it can be overwhelming what's out there. So being in practice, I know that is what is overwhelming for people. So writing this first book, actually that was my second book, I really wanted to be practical. So it's Hack Your Health Habits, because you and I both know that we may have the best intention, but if it doesn't become a habit, guess what? A few weeks down the road and we forgot about it, or it's not ingrained in our routine. So the way I designed the book was to have 3 types of habits. A habit that's super quick. So let's say you find out your deodorant is more toxic than it should be. You are going to go buy a new one when it's time, and you're going to just switch it around. You're already using a deodorant, so that's not a huge thing to change. A second kind of level of habit may require a little bit more organizing. You want to start prepping your food on the weekend. So, there's more involved. And a third one could be like losing 20 pounds. Well, you don't decide that just in a whim. You do need to prepare for it. So I designed the entire book with chapters with making people think, how can you integrate this new thing that you want to now do because you understand that it's better for your health? So it's all about the practicality of things. And then the second book, which, we can dig a little bit deeper later, is all about fast protocols. And when I say protocol, they're not complicated. We're not doing a lengthy thing, but again, what's going to give you the best return on your time, which is, very precious, and your money, even when it comes to supplementation. So that's been my fun and happy place to find tools and technique and strategy for people to get the best result that they can, with the least amount of effort to a certain degree.
So when we talk, I want to circle back around to, as you became a clinician and you started to work more, you started to do a deeper dive. I'm curious, where are some of the deficits that you're noticing in society? This is going to be a loaded question. In society, where our health status is, and maybe the gap with where medicine, Western-based medicine, has been. What have you seen from your point of view in your studies? Where's the gap?
Oh my goodness, that's such a great question. Oh, I think first of all is that we have to look at ourselves as a whole. We can't look at just one thing. Like, let's say somebody has a liver issue and so forth. And I think the gap sometimes is that medicine in general is looking at us, with one thing that's wrong, as opposed to looking at the body as a whole. So I think things have become better, but even to this day, I feel like we're not connecting the dots. And as a chiropractor and a functional medicine practitioner, this is what we do, is connect the dot from what people maybe were taught, what people are exposed to on television. We're bombarded by commercials that are not always, promoting that things that are good for our health, and yet, they are, promoted as they are. So I think the gap or the disconnect is looking at us as an entity, and that we're the sum of all parts and everything is connected, and looking at it from a more analytic point of view to say, okay, what's really going on? And yet it's so simple. I always say to patient, my grandparents had a farm. I'm sure they opened the door, they went to the garden to pick things, kill that chicken for tonight, for that night, or the beef and so forth. We've made it more complicated with, fast food and, the 70s and the 80s. I can't remember when the TV dinners came out, but it's just for
the 70s.
the
Yeah.
70s, right? So we try to make it convenient and fast, and then we complicated things. And now, we've done a good number on our food supply and so forth. So now we have to go back to basis. And, it's basic things like sleep. It's basic things like nutrition. It's basic things like going outside, being exposed to the sun. So funny enough that the basic things are still the basic. Like, we've gone more complicated sometime than we had to, right?
And, and I love how you talk about this, because I think that there's a growing acknowledgement that we haven't gotten it. We haven't nailed it the way that we're supposed to. I think that it seems like there's been a lot of decades long guesses. And now there's this maybe a mixed bag of clinicians, practitioners who are speaking up, but then there's the establishment, the medical establishment that, we've got the big pharma, we've got just the pressures of, well, this is exactly how you fix, this is what you'd use to fix that situation. But then you've got, like, who's right? If it's not, conventional, is it the, just holistic practices? And what kind of dialogues, what kind of conversations have you had with colleagues when things like this come up, concerns that, that modern medicine is, is not landing the mark consistently?
Yeah, and it's conversation I even have with patients. So our healthcare system should be called sick care system, right? Because they're great when, you get in a car accident, break a limb. Like, they're great for a lot of things, great advancement, and, by golly, we need it. But more focus has to be put on prevention. But I think people get confused. What does that mean, prevention, right? Because my idea of prevention may not be the idea of, the big companies that want to, again, push products and things like that. So the discussion, I think, is, my tagline is to help people take control of their health. So you can't delegate that. You can't, hire someone. Well, you could hire a trainer, but you have to do the workout. You have to eat. Somebody could cook, sure. You have to sleep. There are certain things that you need to take control of your health. And great that there's great people like you, for coaching and guiding, and there's a multitude of different practitioners. And we all need a coach. We all need someone to guide us, to make us accountable, to, again, help us create those shortcuts that are going to make it so much more efficient. So it's more about critical thinking. It's more about taking control of your health, and you're in charge. No one's going to do it for you. And even when patients come and say, oh, my doctor didn't tell me about food, they don't have the time. They don't have the training. The system is so overburdened, especially where I'm from, that they don't have the time. So it's on us, and I say on us, not just me as a doctor, but it's on us as a human being to say, okay, what can I do to take control of my health? It's reading, it's following podcasts, it's learning, it's hiring people to help you. Because at the end of the day, we're in charge.
Absolutely. We've got a whole lot more to cover, including Dr. Nathalie's books. First, we're going to take a commercial break. Stay put.
So in the calm bag, it has GABA, theanine, and taurine. So theanine, which is B1, which is also in our B complex, but it also helps with the stress response levels. It also helps with the neurological transmitters in our brain. Combined with the GABA, and then you add taurine to it. Taurine is a non-essential amino acid in our body, but it's found in our heart, our brain, and our eyes. So in my personal opinion, it's very essential in our lives. But taurine has a calming effect as well. When I was battling all my AFib issues, I was taking high doses of taurine because that would help with my AFib. It would help with the palpitations I was having. And it also helped with the anxiety of having the palpitations because I knew what was going on. And so taurine helps a lot with that as well. So those three together create such a wonderful concoction that just really just calms people down.
Introducing Launchpad, the perfect partner to help you launch your dream project to the world. We know that time is of the essence, and we're here to help you make the most of it. With Launchpad, you'll get access to the most advanced digital tools and strategies to take your idea from a mere concept to a fully fledged success. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a seasoned pro, we have everything you need to make your mark in the world. Launchpad, your ultimate launch partner.
Nathalie Beauchamp. She is someone who we are having deep conversations about hacking your health. She is a clinician. She's also an author, and we're talking about ways in which we can start to turn things around, change the trajectory with our health, utilizing things such as biohacking, and then some of the tools that she is highlighting with us today. And Dr. Nathalie, before the break, you were talking about the change in which you were making in your profession, that you started to take notice of where our health, what the trajectory is for society. And I'm curious, before we dive into the books, what are some things that that patients come to you for? What are some of the more common challenges, and what are you seeing society's trends? Where are we going with some of the health conditions that we're facing today?
Oh, that's a great question. So being a chiropractor, people come to see me for pain, headaches, migraine, but added to that, digestive issue, constipation, painful periods. And my job is to gather all the information and then come up with a plan that's going to help them. And obviously through chiropractic care for a lot of those things. But then I work with them on what else they could do at home, because a lot of what's going on right now is about inflammation. So chronic inflammation is going to lead to cardiovascular issues, to diabetes, to sore joints, to dementia. So inflammation is sadly the name of the game now. So focusing on strategies for people to decrease their inflammation, I find is a great gap, even for hormones. I mean, if you're a woman and you're all inflamed, your hormones are not going to be working properly. If you might be trying to lose weight and you're being good and you're doing all the things, but the scale's not budging, if you're inflamed, it is going to have a huge impact on that. So I feel like my books were able to give or bridge the gap between what patients were coming in to see me and what else they should do at home to help support their lifestyle.
I love your approach, because it sounds to me like your chiropractic care, and it's more of a holistic approach where it does address things such as there is a connection to the nervous system, and then just all the ties, all the integrations that take place in the body. So it's not just making a simple adjustment in the body, but you dive deeper into some of the origins of where this inflammation is, and it may not, and from what you're saying, it may not be from where the patient may think it's coming from.
Well, to a certain extent, for sure. And thank you for bringing up the nervous system, because the spine covers the nervous system, and the nervous system controls every cell, tissue, and organ in the body. So I'm very fortunate that with my hands, and that's what I do all day is work with my hands, I can help people with their nervous system and balance. I'm sure you're familiar with the fight or flight, the sympathetic, where, we're all go, 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 versus the rest and digest system, the parasympathetic nervous system, which the vagus nerve is part of. So as a chiropractor, I get to help people balance their nervous system, which is, if I have to prioritize it, I would put it right there at the top. But then, like I said, sitting down with patient and figure, okay, what else are you doing at home that, could be improved? Is it you're sitting all day at your computer, you're all hunched over, you're not moving? Movement is such a huge part. What are you eating? What supplements are you taking? So it's taking that deeper dive, and I don't do it all at once because it will be overwhelming to people. But it's planting the seed every time for people to give them wins with their symptoms and give them wins with little things that they're changing and that they're seeing a difference. So that's exciting to me when a patient comes in and say, oh, I've done that and I'm seeing a difference with this. Like, awesome. And what's next, right?
And then that, of course, can create that level of awareness, can establish a greater framework of awareness for your patients when they understand and see how the dots are connected, so that they're being more aware of how the body's moving. Then ultimately, I'm assuming it's going to help to make better choices instead of just making choices on the fly, but being conscionable about how we're moving and how we're treating our bodies. And to testament to the work that you're doing. I want to switch gears and I want to talk a little bit about your book. So, obviously you're not only are you a chiropractor, but a practitioner, but you are certainly an author. And I'd like to share with the audience a picture of the books that you have. So we're bringing that up here. Talk a little bit, take us through the journey of authorship. And let's start from our left and then go all the way through to SmartCuts. Talk to us about, you started to dive into that in the first segment. Say a little bit more about the intentionality of the book and the goal for the reader to have.
Yeah, and if you had told me I was going to write 5, actually there's a one that's a bit older, 6 books, I would have laughed at you because English is not even my first language, so let alone writing books. But like I said, I just found a way and had people to help me through it. So the first book is called Hack Your Health Habit, and this is, I believe it's 600 plus page. It's a Bible, and I talk about everything: hormone, gut, gluten, inflammation, intermittent fasting, like the whole shebang, like even mindset and having a philosophy and so forth. So, but it's all done through those 3 types of habits. So at the end of each chapter, I'm all about results, and I'm all about, what did you read? What did you learn? And what are you going to implement? So that book is very much designed, to take action. The second book, I did probably 2 or 3 years ago now. It's called Fired Up and Feeling Great. And it's mostly for my patients. I kind of joke with them, you do what's in the book, and I give them a copy and I'll do my thing. And then we're going to have amazing results. So it's work ergonomics, standing desks, sitting, it's exercise, it's inflammatory food, it's pillows, it's beds, it's whatever, is going to have a direct impact on their spine. So it truly is 10 key strategy for their body to heal better. Because let's face it, I can do my thing, but if we're not giving the body what it needs to heal, it's not going to be as efficient. And the other 2 books are for, I have a co-author on this one, Dr. Denis Covier, who is a business coach, because I also do business coaching with executive, because health and business intertwine more than we think. So you've got this busy executive that maybe is trying to climb the corporate ladder and is not focusing on their health as much as they should. So Dr. Covey and I paired up to for business owner, what they can do. So the resilience toolkit is all about creating resilience in the body, but also in your business. So had a lot of fun co-authoring those 2 books. And the last one, SmartCuts, Biohack Your Healthspan, and it's cutting edge protocol for better energy and performance. So co-author on this as well, Dr. Paul Sly. And the goal with this was, Dr. Sly was saying, Natalie, you can't write another big book like the first one. So he was always reining me in because, there's so much you can put out there, but we really wanted it to be protocol based, so short little paragraph or segments that you can take action on. So this one has sleep, recovery, we're both big in exercise, neurotransmitter, brain health, even longevity as well, and a little bit more into the biohacking, so giving people tools that are interesting for them to start to integrate. Because I have fun with this. Like, my fun is to order a new product, a new tool, and you have to have the basic. You can't just get the technology and not have the basic, like sleep and things like that. But that's what the last book is more about.
Talk a little bit about sleep, rest, and recovery. I know that SmartCuts dives a little bit more in detail about that. What can you say about what you've noticed in society, some of the latest research, and our struggles in not being able to get enough sleep? And can you speak to the realm of how important this is? What is the long-term impact if we don't make sleep, rest, and recovery a very top priority in our book?
Oh yeah, it's huge. And again, like, I've done entire presentation on sleep and recovery, and you don't think you can speak for an hour on that, but you can. So I think our society now, it's busy, go, and it's almost like a badge of honor to say, you meet someone you haven't seen in a while. How have you been? You've been busy. Why is it so good to be busy? Not that it's, if we have stuff to do, it's fine, but busy over rest and sleep. And I myself, guilty of that. Before I got a tracker to track my sleep, I was at CrossFit at 5:30 in the morning and pushing through. And then I realized, oh my goodness, I'm not sleeping enough. So I find now with the technologies, they have their pros and cons, but we're more aware now and you can track. And what I like about those is, let's say, you have your routine before bed and you have your routine of supplements, and, you can tweak to say, okay, what did I do last night? Did I eat too late and my digestion was impacted and I didn't get enough of my deep sleep or REM sleep? So I really believe that the first thing people have to dial is their sleep. And I think the statistic was like 1 person out of 3 suffer from insomnia, but I think it's even more now. Like, conversation I have with people, again, part of the intake, how do you sleep? Do you wake up feeling refreshed? Do you wake up that you're jumping out of bed? And the answer is often no, because we're on that sympathetic fight or flight cortisol, potentially peaking at the wrong time. So sleep is huge. Recovery as well. We are all about working out and exercising, but you need to give your body some time to recuperate. I'm a big fan of measuring heart rate variability. I do this with patients, all through their care. Heart rate variability, for people that don't know, is basically measuring the variability between our heartbeats, which you wouldn't think it should be variable, but on the contrary, it has to be variable because you'll be more resilient and able to adapt. And it's a great marker to see the health of the vagus nerve. So, people are used to, let's say, a cholesterol number or I'm number driven myself. So having those kind of tools that people can see their result, I think is amazing to be able to do that.
When you think of people starting to hack their health and they're starting to tap into biohacking, or at least understand how it all is supposed to work out, what are some things that come up as an obstacle? What are some things that you notice that some of your patients have either given pushback or felt like it was a daunting task? Or what are some obstacles that come up along the way that could really trip people up if we're not too careful?
Yeah, I think 2 things come to mind. Time, how do you manage? You have kids, you have to fit it in. So time is a big thing, but I always say to patients or people, you have 15 minutes. Well, guess what? 15 minutes of body weight exercise is better than nothing at all, like way better than nothing at all. You have 15 minutes, get outside, go walk. So time, I think, is huge because people are, again, busy with their lives and so forth. But if we don't put it in just like you would put a dentist appointment or something, like it's not going to get done. So the first thing is to realize that 15 minutes or 20 minutes is better than none, instead of an hour and a half to go to the gym. Or maybe you can't do that. And then integrating it during your day, right? So you have kids, so they will learn by looking at what you do. So I think as parents, it's important that we show our kids that this is what it takes to take care of our body. So we need to exercise and eat well. So mommy and daddy still need their time, right? So dropping the kids at soccer practice and, I don't know, walking around, the track or something like that. So I think it's just switching our mindset that we need this huge amount of time and take it in small kind of chunk is what I would say. So time is definitely a big factor.
At some point along these last couple of years, I got to share with you that I had found more and more conversations of people justifying, not moving and just kind of throwing shade at the idea, like you're too cool to work out or too cool to, you only, volo and all of this. And so I'm curious to get your take on this. Where did, if you agree with me on that, there's an uptick on some of the justification of not really working for the body, where do you think some of those culprits or those contributing factors are coming from? How come we are suddenly more and more not so cool and maybe hating on movement and the body and taking care of ourselves?
It's funny that you say that, because not that I don't agree. I mean, we don't live in the same country, but I find us here, it's getting more cool to move. So I'm happy with that shift. But to go back to kind of your original question, number two after time is people getting hurt. So you see this often with your clients. I see it often with my patients because they're on my table. So, it's hard to give heck to a patient that, is putting in the effort, went to the gym and, whatever, they did that exercise and now they're hurting. So I think this is also one that will deter people to do certain things, especially strength training for women. A lot of time women will shy away from it. And yet it's probably after sleep, I'd say strength training is probably the most valuable thing that we can do for ourselves to maintain a good muscle mass so our metabolic rate can stay revving. So it's funny that you say that it's not as cool. Here, it seems like people are now more aware. Again, they're not moving as much as they should because they're sitting. Most jobs now are sitting. And I remember years ago when I heard sitting is the new smoking, I thought, that's a little bit extreme. Honestly, I thought that. But now, 10 years later, I see it in my patient's body, how rolled over they are, anterior head carriage, and it's pulling on the spine and the nervous system. So brain body communication gets impeded and the body doesn't function, and people are wondering why they're tired and don't have energy. So
I agree with you on that. And just for our viewers, in case they're curious, obviously you are in Canada and us here in the US. And I find that since COVID, there's almost like this level of, and the numbers continue to evolve. I think there's a more level of awareness of moving and how important it is for our health. I think there was a time here in the US, especially with COVID first hitting, that there was like a almost like, this pushback on, I don't want to move. I don't have to move. And it could be generational. But to your point, I do agree that there's that tendency that as we get older, it becomes an issue. I read a study where it said that no matter how you're moving at 50, that it's whatever the pattern of movement or lack of movement is, that is the quote unquote likely pattern you're going to carry on going forward, which can be scary because for the person who says, I really need to get moving some more, I need to take care of my body more. And if it doesn't happen, then that hamster wheel could continue.
Yeah. And you're making me think, like, in terms of longevity, and we talk about that in the book, grip strength. Grip strength is one of the best indicator of longevity. If someone can stand up from a sitting position with their leg crossed, all of those things are mobility issues. And even myself, this morning, I was, doing my workout. I'm like, wow, I need to get back into working on my hip mobility. So VO2 max, if you can have a good lung capacity at 50 or 60, what do you think it's going to be in your 70s and 80s? And now in those at that age, I mean, we all want to stay active, but it's daily activities that you want to be able to keep performing. So it's I think it's Dr. Peter Attia that talks about training to be a centenarian, right? So we want to train to have the number 100 in our mind, that we want to be able to be self-sufficient. We want to be able to move properly. So it's now that we have to talk about that. And just to go back to pre-COVID, I find my patients were in two camps. There was the camp that put on the 20 pounds and didn't move. And there's the camp that when they came back after a few months, I'm like, wow, what happened to you? Shed, 15 pounds. So it was, a time of reflection for many to take control of their health and say, you know what? Of all the things that are going on, what can I do to have an impact on my health? And it's take care of it and making sure that you're doing the right things.
Pretty incredible. We've got more stuff to cover. First, we're going to take a commercial break. We are coming right back. Thank you so much for watching The Health Revolution. Our show is growing, and it's all thanks to viewers like you. No matter how you found us, please hit the subscribe button so we can stay connected and continue to deliver amazing content to you. Hi, I'm Adriana, and welcome to Fit Bites. Today we're shedding light on lymphoma, a type of cancer that affects the lymphatic system. There are two primary types, Hodgkin lymphoma and non-Hodgkin lymphoma. Hodgkin lymphoma is characterized by the presence of Reed-Steinberg cells. They're identifiable under a microscope. It often starts in the lymph nodes of the upper body, such as the neck, the chest, or underarms. Non-Hodgkin lymphoma, on the other hand, lacks these specific cells and can develop in lymph nodes throughout the body. In the United States alone, approximately 8,720 new cases of Hodgkin lymphoma are expected in 2025, while non-Hodgkin lymphoma accounts for about 80,350 new cases annually. Globally, non-Hodgkin lymphoma saw an estimated 544,000 new cases and 260,000 deaths in 2020. Early detection is crucial. Symptoms like painless swelling of the lymph nodes, persistent fatigue, unexplained weight loss, and night sweats should prompt a visit to your healthcare provider. The good news is that with timely diagnosis and appropriate treatment, many cases of lymphoma are manageable. Treatment options include chemotherapy, radiation therapy, immunotherapy, or a combination depending upon the specific type and area of the body. Remember, staying informed and proactive about your health is essential. If you notice any unusual symptoms, do not hesitate to consult with your healthcare professional. Stay healthy, stay informed, and stay tuned for more Fit Bites with Adriana. Today, we're talking about hacking your health. Our guest today, Dr. Nathalie Beauchamp. She is well-versed. She's a chiropractor, holistic chiropractor, clinician, and author of 6 different books. The latest one, SmartCuts. We did a deeper dive into some of the intentionality and the takeaways for the reader of her books. And I want to switch gears and I want to talk about, I know that Dr. Nathalie, you work with many patients in Canada, but also, but that's not the only way in which you are reaching those who are aligning with and understand the clarity of how you treat patients. What are some of the ways, I know that you're in the online space and that you work with others. Talk a little bit about your two programs that you have, and let's see if we could bring the screen up about this first one. So say a little bit about this.
Yes, so this is when I was done writing the book Hack Your Health Habit, I'm like, okay, how can I make this even more practical? So I sat down and I remember recording, it was July, I was with the light, I was sweating bullets, but I sat down and created, I think it's like 80 videos. And again, how to make it more practical with even self-evaluation, questionnaires on detox, and I just wanted to dig deeper and give people more resources. So this one is completely self-paced. People can do it, at their own speed. So I'm pretty proud of, again, the content that is in there to support someone's lifestyle and take them from everything, workout, meal plans, just the whole shebang is in there.
And so this is great because this allows someone to self-start, to kind of guide themselves and pace themselves throughout the duration of how you are teaching them to learn the skill set so that they're elevating their health.
Yeah. And to do it as they go as well. You do a questionnaire. Oh, wow, my toxic load is super high. Okay, what are the action steps you're going to do to decrease your toxic load? Change your cooking pans, or, change your deodorant, or change your beauty products and so forth. So it's really, again, it's just you listen to something. What is it that you're going to do and implement and start to, pay more attention to?
And then the other program you have is obviously much more, it's an intensive approach. Say a little bit about this, the 90-day reboot and optimize.
Yeah, this one came out of so many people asking me, Nathalie, how can I work with you more? And I'm like, okay, I have to come up with something here. So I'm super excited. This is a newer program and it's 90 days and we don't leave any stone unturned. Like, we look at your workout, your supplements, your nutrition, even your entire health, metabolic rate, and so forth. And then I do 2 or 3 follow-up into recommendation, and then we have tools with meal plans, and I even design people's workout. So I have you, or you have me, for 90 days, and my goal is to completely reboot if you need the rebooting, or sometimes it's optimized, because a lot of people come to me and they're already doing a lot of the great stuff, but they may be hitting menopause and it's like hormones are changing things a little bit, so they need to fine-tune things, and that's my happy place. So if somebody is a beginner, we'll set them on the path to success with what they need to do. And if somebody's a little bit more advanced, this is when we bring in the biohacking tools and the tools and technologies and more advanced protocols. So it's customized completely to the person. And it's been, great doing this. It really fills my cup to be able to see, the changes in people.
Now, 2 quick questions. Now, obviously, do you work worldwide with this program, with either one? And then is it both men and women, or just women, or what does that look like?
A good question. So yeah, of course, the first one online, anyone can sign up. This one, I do work with, I'm considering myself more of a coach, a health coach with this. So I can do it with anyone in the world, just looking at doing an inventory of your life and come up with a better plan. That's kind of the gist of this.
Fantastic. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We are coming right back. Stay there. Our guest today, Dr. Nathalie Beauchamp. Dr. Nathalie, where can viewers find you in the virtual space?
Well, online. So my website is drnataliebeauchamp.com or drnat.life. I try to shorten it for people that they didn't have to spell my full name. But yes, finding me on the website, tons of great resources. I even have like an ebook that people can download.
And then also in social media. So where are the different platforms that you are most active in?
I would have to say definitely on Instagram. Also, the handle is at Dr. Nathalie Beauchamp. I'm quite active. I put some stories of what I'm doing during my day.
And then is that the only one? We've got more?
We've got obviously Facebook. So that one is also, I'm pretty active. So at Dr. Nathalie B. I also have, I don't know what the next one.
I know you're on
Pinterest. Yeah, Pinterest. That one's a bit more complicated. So just typing in Dr. Nathalie B. Well, and you should find some stuff on it. Again, because of the stuff that I do with nutrition and exercise, it's easy to use Pinterest. And I believe the last one is LinkedIn, obviously as a doctor and as a business owner, and also as someone that helped business people thrive, not just in business, but in their health, Dr. Nathalie Beauchamp as well.
What is the one takeaway you want our viewers to get from our conversation? What is the one message you want to make sure that they take with them?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be hard, and make it fun. I think it's just at the end of the day, we're making it harder than it is. And oftentimes we see it as a task, as opposed to a journey of learning and exploring and trying new things. So have fun with it.
Absolutely. I love that message. It's been amazing to talk to you. I love the space that you represent and the space that you hold. Dr. Nathalie Beauchamp, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being here today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And of course, too, we want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. Thank you so much for supporting our show. Biomed Mobile IV, Dapper Mobile Apps, Launchpad, and Synergize Fitness. For our viewers, you can find us on the web as well. Our website is thehealthrevolutiontv.com. There you can subscribe to our newsletter. You can also email us with any show episode ideas you would love for us to tackle. Upper corner of your screen, you'll find our QR code. If that's easier for you to grab, then definitely have at it. And then, as always, you can count on us to be here for you every week, Tuesdays and Thursdays on E360 TV, on the Arion TV channel, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, continuing to expand to so many different sites, the Amazon Fire, of course, Apple TV, Roku, and then, of course, we're expanding beyond that as well. That is all the time that we have for today. Until next time, take care of yourselves. We will see you soon.